Esoteric Christianity is an ensemble of spiritual currents which regard Christianity as a mystery religion, and profess the existence and possession of certain esoteric doctrines or practices of which the public is unaware but which are understood by a small group of people. These spiritual currents share some common denominators, such as heterodox or heretical Christian theology, the canonical Gospels, various apocalyptic literature, and some New Testament apocrypha as sacred texts, and disciplina arcani, a supposed oral tradition from the 12 apostles containing esoteric teachings of Jesus the Christ. Mystery religion. Early Christians used the Greek word mu upsilon sigma tau eta rho iota omicron nu to describe the Christian mystery. The Old Testament versions used the word mysterion as an equivalent to the Hebrew sod, secret. In the New Testament, the word mystery is applied ordinarily to the sublime revelation of the gospel, and to the incarnation and life of the Savior and his manifestation by the preaching of the apostles. The word mysticism is derived from the Greek mu upsilon omega, meaning to conceal, and its derivative mu upsilon sigma tau iota kappa omicron sigma, mystikos, meaning an initiate. In the Hellenistic world, mystical referred to secret religious rituals. The use of the word lacked any direct references to the transcendental. A mystikos was an initiate of a mystery religion. Theologians gave the name mystery to reveal truths that surpassed the powers of natural reason. So, in a narrow sense, the mystery is a truth that transcends the created intellect. The impossibility of obtaining a rational comprehension of the mystery leads to an inner, a hidden way of comprehension of the Christian mystery. That is indicated by the term esoteric in esoteric Christianity. Even though revealed and believed, the mystery remains nevertheless obscure and veiled during the mortal life, if the deciphering of the mysteries, made possible by esotericism, does not intervene. This esoteric knowledge would allow a deep comprehension of the Christian mysteries that otherwise would remain obscure. Ancient roots. Some modern scholars believe that in the early stages of Christianity, a nucleus of oral teachings were inherited from Palestinian and Hellenistic Judaism. In the 4th century, it was believed to form the basis of a secret oral tradition which came to be called disciplina arcani. The mainstream theologians, however, believed that it contained only liturgical details and certain other traditions which remain a part of some branches of mainstream Christianity. Important influences on esoteric Christianity of the Christian theologians Clement of Alexandria and Origen, the leading figures of the catechetical school of Alexandria. Origen was the most prolific writer, according to Epiphanius of Salamis. He wrote about 6,000 books, making it a difficult task to define the central core of his teachings. The original Greek text of his main theological work, De Principiis, only survives in fragments, while a 5th-century Latin translation was cleared of controversial teachings by Tyrannius Rufinus, making it hard for modern scholars to rebuild Origen's original thoughts. Thus, it is unclear whether reincarnation and the pre-existence of souls formed part of Origen's beliefs. While hypothetically considering a complex multiple-world transmigration scheme and De Principiis, Origen denies reincarnation in unmistakable terms in his work Against Celsus and elsewhere. Despite this apparent contradiction, most modern esoteric Christian movements refer to Origen's writings to validate these ideas as part of the esoteric Christian tradition. Early modern forms. In the later Middle Ages, forms of Western esotericism such as alchemy and astrology were constructed on Christian foundations, combining Christian theology and doctrines with esoteric concepts. Giovanni Pico della Mirandola's Apologia states that there are two types of magic, which are theurgy and goetia. These disciplines were explained as the operation of the stars, just as alchemy was the operation of the sun, and astrology the operation of the moon. Kabbalah was also an active discipline. These spiritual traditions allegedly aided the esoteric to arise to higher forms of consciousness, and arise to a better understanding of God, the self, and the universe. Esoteric Christians practice these forms of traditions, which they believe are all a part of the same spiritual truth, which help to convey mystery knowledge which can only be learned directly from spiritual experience via theurgy, Kabbalah, or mysticism. In the 16th and 17th centuries, this was followed up by the development of theosophy and Rosicrucianism. Feminism also developed around this time, as did Freemasonry. Modern forms. Many modern esoteric Christian movements acknowledge reincarnation among their beliefs, as well as a complex energetic structure for the human being. These movements point out the need of an inner spiritual work which will lead to the renewal of the human person according to the Pauline sense. Rudolf Steiner and Max Heindel gave several spiritual exercises in the writings to help the evolution of the follower. In the same direction are Tommaso Palamidesi's writings, which aim at developing ascetic techniques and meditations. In Bulgaria, Peter Dionov opened an esoteric Christian school, which he called School of the Universal White Brotherhood. It consisted of 2 classes of students and had 22 school years. George Gurdjieff called his teaching the fourth way, the way of conscience, whereby the student learns to work with and transform the negativity and suffering of one's ordinary life to come to real life. His one-time pupil, the Russian mathematician and esotericist P.D. Ouspensky, made the term fourth way and its use central to his own teaching of the ideas of Gurdjieff. Beginning with the fourth dimension in 1909, Ouspensky's books synthesize esoteric Christianity with psychology, comparative religion and Eastern practices. According to all of these esoteric scholars, the ensemble of these techniques will lead to salvation and to the total renewal of the human being. This process usually implies the constitution of a spiritual body apt to the experience of resurrection. Some esoteric Christians today also incorporate New Age and traditional magical practices in the beliefs, such as Kabbalah, theurgy, goetia, alchemy, astrology, and hermetism.